My flirty 30 never lets me down, and my 16, nothing rhymes with 16. I'm gonna think about that. The Sigma 16mm f1.4. What's up, YouTube? It's your boy, BMAC. So this morning I tweeted out on my Twitter account, @BMACadelic on Twitter, or twitter.com/BMACadelic, if you want to join in on the fun. But I tweeted out a photo this morning of my B&H order that got delivered in the mail today. And a lot of you on the Twitter were actually asking about what those goodies were that were inside the package. One of those goodies just happened to be this bad boy right here. The Sigma 16mm f1.4. Now, for those of you who are subscribed to this channel, I know what you're thinking. BMAC, dude, why are you getting another wide-angle lens? You don't need another one. You already have the Sigma 19mm f2.8 and the Sony 10-18 f4. Now, whereas both of those observations might be true, I do have three reasons. Three reasons in particular why I splurged a little bit and went with the Sigma 16mm f1.4. Reason number one, and this might actually be the biggest reason of all, the autofocus on the Sigma 16mm is fixed compared to the issues I was having with the autofocus on the Sigma 19mm. There's a weird kind of focus breathing, focus popping situation going on with the Sigma 19mm. It's not that the focus doesn't work, it's not that the autofocus is bad on this lens, it's, you hear that? There's something going on. I don't think the autofocus on the Sigma 19mm is meant for video. I'm not gonna go into too much detail about that because I already have a video on my channel that does that already. Long story short, no matter what I tried to do, there's this weird kind of pulsating effect in the background when using the Sigma 19mm lens, which basically rendered it useless for my video needs. I still think it's a great lens for photo or manual focus, but for autofocus, there's something going on. From the other Sigma 16mm f1.4 tests that I've seen online, and in some of the cinematic vlogs that I've seen some fellow YouTube filmmakers create, I see virtually no problems with autofocus. There's no pulsating effect in the background. The autofocus locks on without a problem. It knows what the subject is. So 19mm has been put on the back burner even more than it was before. So reason number one, autofocus on the 16mm is mint. Reason number two, and this kind of builds on reason number one, the hella wide aperture. We get an f1.4 aperture on a 16mm lens. That's an amazing combination right there. And the Sony 10-18, this is a fantastic lens. I love this lens. The wide angle you get on this lens is insane. 10mm is just, but the problem is that F number of f4. Now, the Sony 10-18 is an exception, but I usually won't buy a lens unless it has an aperture of at least 2.8 or wider. Point is, the difference in using this lens for wide angle is going to be a stark difference from the aperture that I was getting on the Sony 10-18. The difference is going to be nuts. I'm still gonna use my Sony 10-18 for my unboxing videos like I have on this channel, and maybe occasionally here and there when I need an ultra wide angle for whatever reason. But I've really been in the market for quite some time now for a reliable wide angle shallow depth of field lens that I could use on my Sony E-mount camera. Went for it, used all of my saved up Christmas money, but it'll be worth it. I'm just a huge fan of shallow depth of field. I think you can make any shot that much more professional and cinematic just by utilizing shallow depth of field. And honestly, that's probably like the number one thing I hope for when composing a shot. Love me some sexy blurry backgrounds, just saying. I'm just very excited for the wide angle and wide aperture for some shallow depth of field shots with that wide angle on the Sigma 16mm f1.4. Reason number three, and this builds on my last reason and the reason before that, that full two-stop difference when it comes to exposure between the Sigma 19mm and the Sigma 16mm. Let me just point out that f2.8 is not bad. That's pretty wide of an aperture to have on any lens. Now, you can get some shallow depth of field and some pretty good footage in low light situations with an aperture of f2.8. You can. Don't think you can't. You can. But that full two-stop difference in exposure going down to an f1.4, now we're talking, is going to make a very big difference when it comes to low light situations, filming in low light. It allows me to not have to crank up that ISO, which I absolutely hate doing. I will sometimes refuse to even get the shot if it's a noisy image because that ISO is just through the roof. I don't know. Noisy footage, to me, tooey. It's gross. I don't like it. But I will say that the Sony a6500 with a wide aperture lens, pairing the two up, the thing could practically see at night. It's like borderline on the level of those Navy SEALs infrared goggles you wear. I'm Well, that's all right, that's a little exaggerated. It is impressive how much more the camera will see in those lighting situations compared to your naked eye. To top that off, something I've really been trying to get more into this year is long exposure time lapses, particularly nighttime time lapses of the night sky. Now, yes, granted, you're supposed to plan out your time lapses, especially nighttime time lapses. You're supposed to plan those out, set the focus ahead of time. Sometimes you don't plan though. And when you don't plan and you want to nail that focus on the stars, in my personal experience, the Sony a6500 with a fast aperture lens allows you to see the stars and set the focus before your time lapse even begins. Doing so on other lenses with higher f numbers, like the Sony 10-18 f4, it's basically impossible on those lenses. It's going to be a complete guessing game when it comes to setting the focus on the stars, making sure those stars are pinpoint focused, and even your test images really won't help because you're just guessing, you know, you're focusing, you cannot see it. With a wide aperture lens and the Sony a6500 ISO kicked way up, that has allowed me to take nighttime time lapses without any preparation, just almost like point and shoot, while nailing the focus. So that's something that's important to me. That aperture makes a huge difference, man, I'm telling you. Sigma 16mm f1.4 about to be a beast for the nighttime time-lapse game. And to finish things off, reason number 4, yes, I know the title of this video is 3 reasons, I get that, but since reason number 4 is not really an official reason, reason number 4, my flirty 30 never lets me down, and my 16, nothing rhymes with 16, I'm gonna think about that. I'm assuming the 60mm is just gonna follow suit with the 30mm. From the way things have gone with my 30mm Sigma lens, 60mm is probably about to be my second favorite, if not my number 1 favorite. We'll see. It's going to be pretty close. If you're interested in the Sigma 16mm f1.4, as always, I'll have a link to this particular lens in the video description box below, so be sure to check that out. So there you have it, one of my newest lens purchases. Super pumped to use this. Over the next few weeks, I'm doing a little bit of traveling. Gonna have some cinematic vlogs coming your way in which I will be fully utilizing the Sigma 16mm f1.4. So be on the lookout for that. If you want to see this bad boy in action, you could check out my cinematic vlogs playlist, which is going to pop up on the top right-hand corner of your screen, or of course there will be a link in the video description box below as well. In that playlist, you're going to see all the footage in all its glory that I'm going to capture with this bad boy. If you enjoyed this video, smash that thumbs up button and comment down below your thoughts on the Sigma 16mm f1.4. Do you have it? Do you love it? Do you not have it but are super excited for it? Do you think it's going to be a piece of trash and should I use it as a bookmark? A bookmark wouldn't work. That's way too big for a bookmark. A bookend is what I meant to say. Leave your thoughts on the Sigma 16mm in the video description box below. Now it's time to go put this puppy to the test. That's a terrible idea. Why would I ever flip around a new lens in my hand like that? Oh, respect your glass, BMAC.